All
Hello.
right. Ooh, we're live stream. Okay. Have you heard of Awakenpedia?
No, please tell me more. I'm highly intrigued
I
already.
cannot tell you more because I know a little, but what I can tell you is that it is an online spiritual community that I joined about a year ago. And they offer a lot of it's by like donation
Hmm.
or like just support. It's very community based. And it's a whole different array of people. So, like our coaches directory
Sure.
is similar to that, where like you can, if you're depending on what kind of member you are, you can put yourself in a directory and people can reach out to you for coaching, for healing, for different things. And there's an array of different people offering their gifts and specialties. And yeah, it's a
I
cool
love it.
place. So every so often they have like weekend online retreats, and then they bring in a number of facilitators to offer different workshops, talks, meditations, whatever. And so I signed up for one in June. I need to have the content prepared and you send it to them because they want to look at it, obviously, to make sure that
It's like a
what we're
mini TED
teaching.
Talk.
Right. Yeah, sure. And except for it's a full hour. It's
Ooh,
not 10
wow.
minutes. Yeah, it's like a full hour that I get. So the topic I chose, because they give you an option to choose from different things. And the workshop itself, or not the workshop, but the weekend retreat is called Dissolving the Illusions of the Mind. And I'm like, yeah. And so the topics that I got my first choice, and what I chose was the illusion of specialness, which is just sign me up. Because on one hand, we're all so special. I mean, I'll get there. And also, what makes you so special? Once again, it's like just complete opposites. So in true form, I went to my chat GPT, who's getting to know me quite well, by the
Isn't
way.
it scary?
I
It's like scary good. Like
it's scary good.
it's
I
like
feel
it's like a
safe.
developing of like a friendship where it's like the more you speak, the more it knows, and then it returns the interaction back to you, and you're like, oh, you were listening.
You're like, you remembered. Like just
Oh yeah, there's that specialness again,
there's that
right? Ooh,
specialness. Like, oh my
this is
God.
special.
Oh my gosh, the robot that I've trained to know me knows me.
Right.
I'm so special. Anyhow, I'm going to tell you what it says.
Oh, this is gonna be good.
Yeah. So first of all, this is where I'm like, you do know me. It's like, this is a powerful and nuanced topic. And based on your work, Jill, it says my name, I can see it fitting beautifully into your broader themes of authenticity, surrender, and self-discovery. The illusion of specialness is especially ripe for deep reflection. It invites us to dismantle ego narratives while still honoring our uniqueness. Here's how you could approach it and what to keep in mind as you guide others through it. And it says the illusion of specialness, and this is what I want us to talk about. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but the illusion of specialness is the ego's belief that we are neither more or less than others, exceptional in a way that separates us. It often masquerades as spiritual superiority, the chosen one complex, or even deep unworthiness, which I found fascinating. And then it says, no one could possibly understand me. Yeah. Both ends of this spectrum are ego-driven and keep us from experiencing the oneness of being human. So the illusion is, number one, a coping mechanism for unmet needs in childhood. So attention, validation, love. Number two, a distraction from deeper healing and surrender. And number three, a barrier to true connection, humility, and dharma, service.
Yeah.
And then it says why this fits your work as a reflector in human design. And it starts talking about that. I'm like, oh, chat. Yeah, how special I am in human design. Isn't that interesting?
So interesting. I don't know why this is important to me. I guess I'm just a semantics person. Did it put the unique in quotations?
Maybe I did that. Let me see.
Or did you do that?
No, I didn't. I emphasized that.
Oh, okay. Because I think it's an interesting point of differentiation.
Right. Well, being special and being unique are two wildly different things. You know, if you think about now, and I wouldn't probably have thought about that until this moment, really.
Truly, absolutely.
Because the words feel one and the same.
Yes.
But they're just not.
They're 1000% not. And that's why it's so, I'm going to use interesting, and I use this word a lot, but all the same, interesting to have that pointed out because of the differences that actually exist. Like the similarities feel very obvious. But what are the actual differences between those two things? And it's part of that point, if you want to read it again, where it was like, the both not enoughness and also like too muchness, so to speak, in a sense. But the unique is not that, right?
No.
It's almost, to me, it's like a true to formness, right? You're in such an authentic place that, of course, it is not replicated, but that doesn't mean it's special.
Right. Right. Let me see. It said something about the difference between the two. Okay. Specialness says I'm better or worse
Yeah.
and different in a way that you can't understand. Yeah. And then uniqueness says I have gifts that are part of the whole.
Ooh.
So there was that differentiation,
Yeah.
which I enjoyed. But yeah, I'll reread what it said. So it often masquerades, the illusion of specialness often masquerades as a spiritual superiority, the chosen one complex, or deep unworthiness. No one could possibly understand me. So both ends of the spectrum are ego driven and keep us from experiencing the oneness of being human.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That it's a resonant feeling, especially like that can't understand. It's like it's almost this badge of like, oh, I'm so special that no one can get me. And it's almost this, like it's saying, this protective layer of not allowing folks either to really get to know me, right? Like the authentic piece isn't there. That's why I'm confusing. Not because folks can't understand. It's because I don't allow it to happen, because I carry this air of like arrogance in my superiority and in specialness, that it's like, of course you minions down there would never understand, so why would I present this flavor of myself for you to not even grasp the concept?
Sure. Or also, this pain is so deep and so like too much to handle that if it can just be special to me, then I don't need to try to describe it or experience it. Because if you can just like put that band-aid on, just like you'll never understand anyway, therefore I don't need to talk about it or express it. And I'm just going to stay in this deep dark hole forever.
That's so interesting. Yeah, this avoidant layer of, and I think that's what it's saying in the part of like the self-worth kind of thing, where it's like you're so invalidated in your own worth that you have to go to this extreme opposite side of like grandeur, right? Where it's like, what do they say about people with big trucks, right? Why do they say that? Because there's something that they feel like they're lacking, and so then they're presenting something much larger in another way. And that's what that feels like, where it's like the worth of myself is so small that I then have to multiply or amplify the worth that isn't really there in this great way.
Do you think there's even a connection to consciousness there, where it's like my suffering is special? Like I can't see anybody that's suffering that deeply describing it as special, Yeah. But maybe that's because it's an illusion.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. I can absolutely see that. It's interesting though how obviously everyone is and everything is different, because like my experience was so the opposite, where it's like I was experiencing trauma after trauma, but like every single time something happened to me, I'm like, this is not, there are worse off people. There are worse things happening to so many other people. Like, shut the fuck up and get up and start doing something about it. And it's because that's my only perspective, right? So like to even understand like this other idea of my experience is so special. So how could you even begin to possibly understand what I am feeling, when the reality is that's both true and not true? There are people who are having the same exact experience as you, and also it's very different because it's theirs and it's their own, it's also through their own lens and their own environment and all of the things that make them unique, right? Which makes the experience unique, right? Yeah. But also so the same.
Yeah. So I'm excited. I'm excited to dive in. Like, I enjoy that I asked it to frame something for me and not like the whole thing, because I want to go do the research. That's what I really enjoy about this kind of work, and understanding it from, again, because I'm very special, my own perspective, in order to share it and go down that path. So yeah, I've got this little framework now that I can work with, and I think it's going to be an interesting little research project.
Yeah. So is the intention to also have interactive experiences?
I always do. I just feel like it just makes the experience so much more tangible, practical, rich. So yeah, I don't want to just talk at people for an hour.
Yeah, no.
As we're recording a podcast.
For sure. I know, right? I don't know why my ADHD brain always wants to know because when we use the word experience, and I feel like it's not actually an experience if it's not something that has an interaction, right?
Mhm.
And like what, okay, so X being external, what is it peer? What could that mean? You know,
Oh, now
the
I see what you
etymology.
mean.
I'm that kind of person. Like, what's the etymology of that? Because I
Yeah,
mean, we
to
use
the
that word a
word.
lot, like experience, but like, is that really what's happening? Or are we just inundated with information that we're not actually experiencing at
Oh
all?
gosh. I think we're just, there's so much noise. There's so, like, I do not subscribe to many things. I
Yeah.
like to keep my digital world kind of tight. And even with how tight my digital world is, I'm overwhelmed. It's just one thing after the other. And emails will go unopened for years and I won't delete them because I'm like, one day, one day, one day I'll get to this email until I just have a reflector moment where I'm just like, everything goes, max delete, nothing matter. And then it's all gone. And then it's also all gone though, too, which
Right.
is interesting. It's like, what is in front of us? The more things we're going to put in front of our eyes and in front of our brains and bodies and to experience is either going to expand in the intentionality of it,
Yeah.
perhaps, because of our capacity to hold it, or the exact opposite. Do I have one really solid, impactful email today to read today, or do I have 100 to scroll through? You know, am
Hmm.
I doing one really solid meditation, or am I sampling little mini things online throughout the day? You know,
Yes. Yeah.
what's the experience?
Right.
And
Right.
how do we even determine which one is more beneficial when we're just so inundated
Hmm.
with the options all the time, too?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. The
It's like maybe
sample.
there's this like fear of missing out on stuff because,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, that's okay. So, right to that point, I don't know why I think about like when you go to a restaurant and they give you the samples, right? And you
Oh,
get
yeah.
to pick so many, and it's for me at least, it is that for that reason. It's not to actually choose a larger experience later. It's
Hmm.
like the FOMO. It's like I want them all. I want to know them all. Therefore, it almost is a way to mitigate choice
Hmm.
in the sampling. It's like I don't have to choose. I can just bing bang boom, have them
Yeah.
all.
Which again can be such a
Neither,
gift,
yeah, neither good
you
nor
know?
bad. It just is also a choice. Like what is it? What's the choice? What's the reason behind it? Is it to have this fuller experience or is it just because things are hard to choose?
Yeah, right. But again, it's like per person. This is the uniqueness of people.
Mm.
Or is it specialness? I don't know. Maybe it's both. Maybe we can blend the two.
I'm gonna throw special out the door.
It's just okay. I'm not gonna use that word
Fuck that
anymore
word.
until later. I'll bring it back. But this is the uniqueness of everyone. Like, I love what I love, and there's certain things that I'm like, I don't need to try that. I don't
Mm.
need to. And you'll get people in life who's like, oh, you're missing out. You're missing out on this. You're missing out on that. Where it's like, I really am not,
Yeah.
because what I do right now with this particular thing, I really wholeheartedly love. So, am I missing out, or maybe are you missing out on the depth of what that can actually feel like? You know, I definitely
Maybe.
go through phases of time, but there's certain things I'm not changing. Like I
Yeah.
love my morning coffee. I don't put anything in it. It just comes it's just espresso and hot water,
Yeah.
and all other coffees don't compare. And I don't know if it's because it comes from my home or if it's the certain beans or whatever it is, but I've grown accustomed to a certain flavor profile. certain like, and this maybe is a lame example, but it's an example. I
Right.
don't need another coffee. I'm also not addicted to coffee.
Hmm.
If it's not my coffee, I might not have it because I know it's not going to taste like my coffee. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. The missing out is only possible if you are looking outside of the current thing that you have,
Sure. Or if there's
right?
something lacking within it. Yeah.
Yes.
If you're
Yes.
experiencing a sense of lack in something, then yeah, there's something that you want to expand on or experience in a different way. Here's another lame example. Reese's peanut butter cup blizzard. That's my go-to. Like, I will not try a different blizzard. I'll have some like a bite of somebody else's because they'll be like, "Oh my God, like you have to try this one though. It's so good." And I'm like, "No, it's not." Like, yeah, it's good, but it's not what I want. So I never waver. And if I ever have wavered, I've been disappointed. Not in everything in life, but certain things.
Yeah, but it's always also the choice behind it.
Right. And I
It's,
think also just knowing yourself.
yes, and knowing yourself, because it also seems like oftentimes those instances happen when it's someone else
Hmm.
trying to get you to do something that they feel called towards. And it's like
Yeah.
going back to the uniqueness, that's unique for you.
Right.
Mine is this. I can see your experience and love it for you, but it's not mine, nor does it have to be. And so there's not anything missing or lacking because that's for you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You know what this is just like an overwhelming requirement to discern.
Ooh,
That's what we're in. Whole life experience right now is this overwhelming requirement to discern. Because it's like, do I open this email? Do I take this course? Do I listen to that podcast? Do I watch this show? Do I listen to the news? Don't I? Do I read the book? Do I blah, 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 blah. And we have to discern which one is for us. And then we have something like social media going, it's this one, it's that one, it's this, it's this, it's this, from 1,000 different avenues. No wonder we're confused. No wonder we have these illusions of specialness because I don't even think most of us know who we are
at all.
at
At
all.
all. At all. That's actually so many interesting points. One, never would have thought I would see the place where discernment became an extreme, right? You
Right.
know what I mean?
But it feels like that, doesn't it?
Yeah. No, for sure. That's why I'm like a little bit because it's such a strong force for me, at least, of like discernment. So important, obviously, but like anything to an extreme is going to have a negative effect, right? And
Mhm.
so like this is that we're pushing our limits essentially on each side to see where the middle is and what that looks like and how we can create it. But what you're saying, yeah, totally, like that really far out left side of discernment is it's an inundation of so much information as well. Like it's all of those things. And so because we have so much information, we then have to amplify our discernment to get through it. And it's
Right.
like we live in this culture of like they have titles of influencer. Like what the fuck does that even mean?
I
You
know.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's so bizarre to me because I'm old to even think
Even
like,
you.
but like, right? But is it not weird? Like that's just a title people hold, an influencer. What do you mean? Who are you influencing? What?
Ooh. And what makes you so special?
Right. Absolutely. My mind is always blown by that. I think partially because I'm never really been into like peer pressure. And so influence to me doesn't necessarily come from an external place. And so I'm always
Yeah, but you're a
curious.
unicorn.
I'm special, obviously, right?
You're very special.
I'm quite special in that I still try to understand that aspect of being so influenced by someone else's like preferences because you don't know yourself well enough to make those choices for yourself. And it's like discernment is the thing, but also is it even your own discernment?
What's the baseline?
Right.
What are we discerning against if there's no solid baseline?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there
Of
always has
self.
to be something of comparison, right? That's like relativity. Like you have to see another in order to understand your own.
Yeah.
And I get that. But also it almost doesn't feel like it's like a reflective thing. It's almost like they're seeing through it.
Mhm.
And it's not never, the reflection's never coming back. It's very strange because like if you think about like an influencer, so to
Mhm.
speak, right? You were seeing this person, seeing all of the things that they're doing and almost trying to embody them rather than applying it to one's self, right? So it never fully comes back. It's like you see it, then you just move into it and through it through the lens of the other person.
Yeah. And what part of it can even be yours? Because then a lot of times we're probably just waiting and looking for the next thing
The next.
that makes us feel. And it's interesting because it all is still in an effort, I think, to be a part of a whole, right? So speaking of, what it says about uniqueness, going, what did it say? Uniqueness, I have gifts that are part of the whole. Well, no, that doesn't really relate. But, it's like this is why I think many of us jump on influencer trains or trends or whatever it is. Just make me think of Costco.
Why?
I don't know. Well, I do know, and I'm going to explain it because Costco sells clothing.
Sure.
And there's usually like a trend, and then Costco picks up on it, and then everybody buys it from Costco that goes to Costco because it's a little bit cheaper and it's like just en masse. And then like I just see this, I don't know, maybe it's just my own experience. But I like there's a shoulder bag that many people have right now. It's just like a little thing. And it's a little shoulder pack. It's like not quite a fanny pack.
It's a
Just like shoulder
square.
pack.
It's probably the Lululemon one that then everybody
Yeah,
made.
that thing. And there's another brand of it. Like it's not Lululemon at Costco, but it's like it's close to that. I don't know what it is.
I don't know
Anyways,
brands well.
doesn't matter. Everybody has it. And you just walk around, everyone in Costco's got the bag. And I'm like, what's happening? You know? Or it's like I'll walk on the street and I'll see someone in like a plaid jacket, like a what were they called? Shackets? This might have been a Canadian thing.
Tell me more about a shacket.
Tell me more about a
A
shacket.
shirt jacket, is that what you mean?
I think. I don't know. I never got one, but or maybe like a sweater jacket. Like
Okay.
a shirt jacket. That makes more sense. Jacket.
Okay.
So it's like a plaid, like heavier than shirt.
I think there's one hanging up right there. Yes. So it's like
It's a shacket. See?
I'm actually
Point proven.
I'm like that hanging.
That right there. That thing.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden it's just like everybody's in a shacket. And no shade. Who fucking cares? This is the point. This is my point. Who fucking cares? And it's like, on what end of the spectrum are you? Are you getting the shacket because it's comfortable, affordable, trendy, it looks good, you know?
Yeah.
Or are you getting the shacket because the influencer told you to? And then there's this whole spectrum in between. And maybe there's no point to this at all because there's never a point to anything that you and I talk about, but who fucking cares? But it's like, how do you discern?
Yeah.
How does one who's in it discern?
Yes. Yeah. And I think also either way, it doesn't matter. Like everything we say, right? It doesn't matter.
Matters.
But what I think actually kind of does at the end of the day is, was it intentional for you? If it's because the influencer said it was cool and that's what you want to do, cool.
Yeah.
I also don't care. But like, is that it? Or are you trying to find yourself and you're just using this as the avenue and are actually not creating the discernment that you think is at the end of this road, right?
Perhaps it's more about what is this going to provide me with? What's the, I don't want to say end game because there's never an end, but what's the intention is what we go in.
The outcome, essentially.
I'm like, I'm going to make up a word, the out tension.
Can we? Out tension?
Out
now,
tension.
again, here goes my etymology. What does tension mean?
Oh, yeah. Well, tension.
Well,
not
tension
spelled that way, but.
Tension and not the tense verb.
Yeah.
But in the.
Like TEN, not TES. No, TENS. Yeah, that one.
See meaning. Okay, I'm gonna have to look that up because now I'm intrigued. I've got all these words to look up.
Add it to your list.
I've got all these words. All
the words. Okay, but outcome. What's the outcome? What are we trying to? What are we trying to attain here? Do we want people to look at the shacket and be like, so and so wears that too? You're part of the community.
That speaks to the group part, then, right?
Yeah. Right.
Where it's like,
of course,
I do this to be part of the group. Again, nothing wrong with that. But is
not.
that it, right? Is it to feel like part of something, to feel included, to be seen both as an individual, but also as part of the collective,
the whole? Yeah. Right.
Ooh.
And so it's funny because like we talked about uniqueness being the special gifts as part of a whole. And so having influence, okay, I'm going back, I'm spiraling because it's like, then there's this illusion of specialness going, I'm the one that's influencing the shacket. I was the first person to wear a shacket and now millions are wearing shacket. So is there a specialness there? Or is that unique because they're the first one, but then the uniqueness because it just goes so widespread dissolves?
Also cyclical.
And very cyclical.
We think that we were the first. At this point in 2025, nothing is new.
It's all been done.
No thought, no idea, no line, no lyric, literally none of it. Like, I just don't believe in that anymore. Does that make me special? Maybe, because that's a different way of thinking. But like, at the end of the day, someone else is thinking that as well. There's literally somebody right in this moment, probably having the same conversation.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. Why not?
Because why wouldn't there
not?
be? Because why wouldn't there be is the reality.
Why wouldn't there be? Yeah. This is making me think of how we discover things. We don't invent them.
Yeah.
You know?
It's actually, it's like, because it speaks to this speciality thing that we think that exists. And like, even now I'm taking this even deeper and maybe going a little bit political, but like thinking about, at least in the United States, like copyright law and things like that, it's like that was never yours. It was never yours. You were just the very first person to put your name on it and ask for money and ask for the government to stop other people from making money and using an idea that is universal.
Yeah.
And it's so hedonistic. It's so egotistical.
It's special.
It's special, right? Isn't that
There's
strange?
There's some illusion of specialness right there.
Yes.
Yeah, that I own this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh God, here's a whole nother podcast. Like, well, if you think about ownership, you know, just in general, like, do I own this house I live in? Not really. You know, like, do I own my children? Definitely not.
Definitely
but you take a sense of ownership over them.
But then there's a line that's also drawn in ownership and responsibility, right? Because technically one cannot say that you own another human being. Let's not do that, right?
No.
But also their actions are so tied to you that it almost feels like so, right? It's like that high level of responsibility
for their actions at this age.
Exactly. So then that ownership, then you feel like there's a level of ownership, but just because you feel it doesn't mean the autonomy isn't there.
Yeah. Right.
You're just not choosing to see it. Not
and just
you,
because
but like,
I feel it and take responsibility for it doesn't mean that they respect that even or take ownership over that, nor even understand it.
Yeah. Yes. This is so interesting because I obviously I don't have children. Having been in my sister's home with her son and sort of watching how children are, and it's like, oh, it's so interesting. But you see the way that actually plays out in this sort of push and pull game of like, do what I say because I own you, but it's like, no. And they actually don't have to. Like, you will, tried and true, they won't also a lot of the times.
Don't I know it? Don't I know that? I've learned so much from my kids. It's actually insane.
Crazy thing.
Speaking of discernment and speaking of a sense of self, it's like there's an abundance of room for growth in your life. An abundance. Kids or no kids. But it's like the moment you think you've got it figured out, especially with kids, it's like, just kidding. They just take they just go down a completely different path. And then you're like chasing them. Oh, I guess I got to figure out this path. And like, you just try to get ahead so you can like be the guide, be the leader. And then they're like,
just kidding. They actually turned around
Yeah,
about half a mile ago.
Yeah.
You just weren't looking.
Oh, right. Because I start getting into my own ego of like, look at me parenting.
Totally.
Yeah. I am
1000%.
nailing this. Yeah. Okay. So take out parent and insert human being.
All of it.
Yeah.
All
of it.
Yeah. Well, also to that point, taking out parent, because we all are in relationship with one another. And so like, just like a parent-child relationship, like we as human beings have relationships to one another. And oftentimes those do meet themselves similarly to like parent-child, like a mentor has that
Oh gosh.
sort of like, you know, that air to them. And
mentor influencer, like especially if we have a non-sense of self maybe, or like a sense of self that could require improvement or strengthening.
Yeah. How funny.
But it's also a part of it. It's like, of course we're doing that. And especially as young people, of course we are. Like I put myself back into my teenagehood. I don't think I made a decision on my own. You know, like I looked outwardly to see what the group was doing. And what was the magazines? It was like Teen.
So many good ones. Teen Vogue.
Yeah.
17.
17. That was the one. That was, I just like loved that magazine.
Adored.
All the little quizzes in it and all the things.
Adored. That was like the preemptive to Glamour and Cosmo. Teen Cosmo also.
Teen Cosmo, yeah. That was a little bit risky.
It was. The quizzes were a little, you know, not for the young teen, if you would.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like there's also one with like a tiger on it. Tiger Beat? Does that ring a bell?
Must have been Canadian.
Maybe. But yeah, you know, and it's like, I remember watching movies and different things like Mermaids. Do you remember the movie Mermaids?
I do. I love that movie.
Christina Ricci is like the young child in it. And I just, like I wanted to be Winona Ryder, but then Christina Ricci grew up and she did like Casper, and I was like, I want to be her.
Yes.
Like, it was just, and again, like maybe this is a reflector quality.
I was just going to ask you that. Do you think it is that? Or do you think that's a teenage thing, or even is Reflector even a real thing?
I don't know.
Right? Like
we're just making these labels,
right?
Yeah. Like true. I would need to poll. Let's poll a community.
Yeah.
podcast community.
Yeah.
Tell us what your experience was as a teenager. But it's like, that was mine for sure. And I often would date somebody and just pick up on all the things that they loved because I also loved them. It was something that would like attract me to the person, or not, it didn't even have to be like a intimate relation. Well, I mean, all relationships can be intimate. What am I trying to say? Like a romantic relationship. But like so and so plays guitar and I love that and I want to learn guitar, so I'm going to go date this person and learn guitar, and then this is motorbiking and this is dirt biking and this is that and this is that, snowboarding and skiing, and even friends, like different sports. I would hang out with friends because, well, this person's on the soccer team, I want to be on the soccer team. And it's not like that was the only driver, but it was just what I was pulled to, and it made very obvious sense for me to do that as a young person. But the more I think back, the more I go, did I ever have an original thought? I feel like I do today, but again, is it original? 7 million other people have already had the same thought, but it feels different. I feel more free from societal expectations, from conditioning, from programming, from especially expectations. Like I feel the autonomy of being myself and the strength in authenticity more than ever, especially now.
Yeah. That also lends itself potentially to just phases of life.
Yeah.
Right? Obviously.
Obviously, that's what I mean.
Teenagers, they do not know. Just like we do not know. But we know just a little bit more.
Yeah. And also young people are just so, like, even look at our young students that we have. They just really feel connected.
Yeah.
Is that real?
Right.
Is it real? I can't tell. It feels real.
Yeah. I don't know. It almost lends itself to different aspects of time, right? Time in the sense of like the individual, where they are in their development as a human being, and also collectively where we all are together.
Yeah.
And
I mean, we're having conversations that our parents were not having.
Right. Yes.
Publicly.
Also, we're connected to so many more people than ever before, right? You can talk to anybody. We're not even in the same country, and here we are, right? And so there's this other evolution that we have experienced as a collective of being able to share in experiences, which both have brought us together, but also have essentially like taken ourselves apart in a sense. And so that, yeah, it could be because the time is different that things feel so connected, because we had previously, at least what it seems like, have come from an era of non-connectedness where everything, and I think we're hopefully at least moving out of that situation of the individual, because I think we've gone really extreme with that. Like the individual is because we didn't understand it so much, right? We lived collectively for so long in human history where it's like we had to depend on one another. And that's why a lot of our conditionings are as they are, because of the collective really needed to be the most important, not the individual, but we're already there, right? The individual, we got it. It's cool. Now apparently it's special. And like,
well, the illusion of special.
Right. Maybe it's time to like dismantle the illusion. Come back to, now that we've got the I and the we, integration of those both things, because the uniqueness does matter, and it matters to not only us but the collective as well. Hopefully that's where we're going.
The I and the we. No, it makes complete sense. And it's interesting too, because if you think about the pendulum swinging, when we talk about this, it's like it's over here, now it's swinging all the way over here, and we just need to bring it back to balance. Well, we're never finding the balance though, and that's the part that's scary, because it's like once it starts swinging, it's going to swing all the way back to the other side. Absolutely. It's the only way, it feels like, for us to kind of wake up to finding the balance again. So it's like there'll be periods of time where it does feel balanced. Maybe that was the 80s and 90s for us.
Really, truly.
And even our elders, and like it just feels like that was just an easier time. Yes. An easier time than the 50s and the 60s and 40s.
20s,
for sure.
20s for sure.
20s for sure. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's like generational, perhaps.
That reminds me of, and this might be far off, but for some reason it came into my mind, this quote, and I'm going to paraphrase and butcher the whole thing, but essentially what they say is like, weak men create strong men create weak men, and it's continual and it's perpetual, because there is, right, like let's say the era of the previous times is the struggle, right? And so the output then for you and for your next of kin is to not struggle. And so let's just call it what it is. That's softness, that's weakness, and that's okay. But then because that exists, strength has to come back, right? Because we've gone too far. We've gone too weak. We need to toughen back up. And like it seems like a harsh thing to say when people are like, oh, toughen up. And it's like, it's both harsh and also kind of a reality as well. You do need to have both softness and hardness, and know there's the discernment again, when to use it and when not, and when it's applicable and when it's not, and all of it.
Why.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And why. I think we get really trapped too in just feeling a requirement for certain things.
Yeah.
You know, like I definitely right now feel like I got to be strong. I got to be tough. I got to hold everything together. No one else is going to do it except for me. And that's just not true. You know, like there's so many people in my life that are helpful, supportive, caring, loving, all of the things. It's like, again, why do I feel the need that I need to be the one? We're not going to open up a whole thing right now.
We'll do that later. Yeah.
We'll do that later. It's another podcast. You know, but again, it's this conditioning stuff. And it's like, what would it feel like to just let the pendulums balance?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's like a surrender. And folks aren't, you know, not everyone's ready for that. Not a lot of people don't even understand what it means. And I get that and I appreciate that. And I'm sort of, I could go either way. I could take the role, or not. And at this point, it's a no for me.
Yeah.
I know what that feels like, and I want to know what the other side feels like. The soft, the support, like, cool.
Yeah, and oh gosh, like how though? How, when it hasn't been an experience, potentially ever? How do we, again, back to discernment, how can we tell?
Yeah, I mean, I truly will only know from the experience itself, because even though like the discernment will always be our own, because my level of strong and hard is so different than everybody else's, right? So what my soft looks like isn't going to necessarily even be the same. It truly has to come from almost like a feeling of, okay, this is different. I don't know this experience. This is outside of what I'm used to in that hardness. And so this is what I'm going to label as soft.
Right, but I don't think it's something you're going to create within yourself. It's like this is going to come externally, maybe from a different person, maybe from an experience, right? From something. And then you discerning in the moment, I'm gonna allow this very different feeling to move through me.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. There has to be that level of allowing too.
Totally. Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. I think I'm thinking more of like almost like seeing what others experience as softness, applying it to myself. Right. And I think for me, at least, that's where the discernment comes from, is in the application of.
That's how you sample
what I see.
Get your little sample.
Yes,
sample
exactly. Right. My sample is to then get the full meal once I decide what I like.
That's good.
I'm a hoarder in that way, I guess.
Sampling. That's a very reflector thing too.
Sampling
of auras, you know, and so like this metaphor is really landing for me right now.
I love that. Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense, especially with what you're saying about relationships and like the reasons why you were drawn to them. It's to sample those things, and essentially also to what you said landed in that same sense of now you feel like a truer version of yourself because of the sampling prior to.
Right, because I adopted things into my life to today. I won't say forever, but still, you know, after decades of experiencing it, it's something that's become part of me.
Yes. Yeah. Sampling. Right. And it's not that, it's not that it goes away. It transforms, it changes, it evolves. Like the sampling still happens, but maybe the discernment comes a little bit quicker, and the realization that, oh, that was fun, but like I can drop that now.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, totally. And then it also like, I'm having this little intuitive hit where it's like, and also, you know, like you don't have to do everything yourself, you know, because it's another just kind of one of those qualities that I've grown up with where it's like, I'll do it myself. I can do this myself. Like the hypervigilance, not needing anybody else.
Yeah, that's landing, I think, with even my own perspective, understanding of like how to create softness. That
Well,
feels
listen to
very
what you're
strict
saying,
and
though.
hard, right?
I'm gonna create softness.
Literally, no, it's in the way that we speak. My thoughts are my words, right? Whether I realize it or not, like the unconscious part of me is always doing it for myself,
Yeah.
by myself.
Yeah.
Full stop. And maybe that's the part for me to allow is
release.
I'm not creating anything actually. Like nothing is created. We're not even inventors anymore. What am I actually creating?
We're discoverers.
We're discovering.
Yeah, we're discovering. All right. Well, I'm gonna ponder that for a while.
Yeah, I'm gonna ponder all of these things.
All of these things, yeah. And we'll
this is good. I'm excited to hear how this turns out and what comes to be with this workshop.
Oh yeah. I'm like, what?
That's where we started.
Sure, we started.
You didn't know.
Oh yeah, the workshop. Yeah, I gotta work on that.
Yeah. No, that'll be good. It'll be good.
You can be my test subject.
Yes. Sample subject.
Sample subject. Sample. We're softening.
These words that just this is gold, by the way.
Maybe this should have been my word of the year. I think I chose initiatrix.
Ooh.
Which is very powerful.
Very.
But maybe it was a bit much. Maybe we could soften.
Yeah. It's such a hard word.
Yeah.
It's such
it was very motivating and inspiring at the time. You know, and it still feels very apt. It's like what we do for our work. We initiate people.
Absolutely.
But do I need to label it? Do I need to take on that energy
all the time?
The year?
I was actually just thinking that like how maybe because obviously different times of the year have different energies and it's like, let's use something like really activating in the beginning, but like June comes around, I'm feeling so much less tricks of anything. You know what I'm saying?
It should be seasonal.
Yeah. Exactly.
Seasonal words.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to change that in my journal. I thought about it because
I love that.
I have a neurospicy client. That's his word. And I love it. Neurospicy. Like you resonate, I resonate, we're all resonate with neurospicy. And we were talking about like goal setting and different things because it was earlier this year. And that's what we came up with. I was like, maybe it's just a seasonal quest for you instead of, goals.
Totally.
And there was just like, I'm running with that.
I love it.
Quests. And so now I'm going to actually change my whole journal for next year to be more seasonal instead of annual.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah, no, that actually resonates really, really deeply in the sense, one, I love a quest.
Yeah.
I'm an adventurer through and through.
Yeah, especially side quests.
Give me a quest. Oh, you give me a quest, I've got several side quests. Those aren't questions. It's just like which one to choose. But yeah, because everything is cyclical and always constantly changing. And it's like, how I was in the beginning of the year is vastly different. And also there's still parts that I carry through, whether it's through the year or through my entire life, but also it's constantly evolving. And what I thought was important in the beginning truly never really is. It really always changes, whether I want it to or not. It's generally not
It's important until it ceases the need to be.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even that is obsolete, the importance of it anyways.
We should change the name of this podcast to Gemini Moons. It is, and it isn't. You're welcome.
Yes. If I could have an annoying statement, it would be that. That's my byline through and through.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like yes and no. Yeah. Oh gosh. I think I have 5 planets in Gemini.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyways, we're not getting on that topic right now. I'm hitting stop.
Cut. Thanks.